But when it comes to being a passer, CJ Stroud is the best rookie passer of all time. CJ Stroud is the rookie of the year, but is he the best rookie QB ever? Robin Lundberg here with Dakota London. Dakota, I'll just throw that question out to you because he's entered the mix when it comes to the MVP. Is he the best rookie we've ever seen?
I'm gonna say no. I think CJ is great. I also think it's a little unfair to be asking the question because the season's not done yet, but I think he's looked fantastic. But I'm gonna go Ben Roethlisberger. Roethlisberger went 13-0 in the regular season his rookie year in 2004, and obviously he wasn't putting up the numbers that CJ is, but for what they needed him to be, he was. I would also throw Dan Marino's name in there just in passing because Dan was so special when he first came out. But Roethlisberger going 13-0 in the regular season in your first year, when he wasn't even supposed to be the starter that season, yeah, I'm definitely going Big Ben.
Well, the Steelers had that record, not Ben Roethlisberger. He wasn't exactly lighting the world on fire.
It don't matter. They didn't go 13-0 without him. I mean, like, they finished that year 13-3. They won 13 games because of him.
To your point, though, I mean, the season isn't over, and there have been some great rookie campaigns. Andrew Luck, Cam Newton might be the best rookie quarterback I've ever seen, in part due to what he did with his legs. But when it comes to being a passer, CJ Stroud is the best rookie passer of all time. When you look at the depth of field that he's throwing, when you look at the fact that he's averaging more yards per game than any quarterback in the NFL currently, and that includes a crop of quarterbacks, with some of the greatest of all time, Patrick Mahomes' name comes to mind, and that the Texans are relevant, I would have never expected to be talking about CJ Stroud in the same breath as some of these other guys that we're talking about him with. And by the end of the season, I do believe he will have a case as the best rookie QB ever.
I'm going to go flag on the play. You say best passing rookie ever. I saw, well, not in real time, but Dan Marino, who is still regarded as one of the greatest passers the game has ever seen, was flinging that ball his rookie season too. 7-2 record as a rookie, but whatever. Speaking of teams in the AFC, the Browns got a big win over the Baltimore Ravens. So now, Robin, I have to ask, do you see the Browns as real contenders? Like, are they real?
Yeah, I mean, I think, look, you have to take the Browns seriously simply because of their record, because of their defense, and because they haven't even gotten top-flight quarterback play as of yet. Deshaun Watson has not been great this season, been in and out of the lineup. P.J. Walker in there. Now, they won this game in large part because Lamar Jackson kind of blew it. I mean, Lamar Jackson may have ended his MVP candidacy in this one, but the Browns have been good enough defensively all season where if Watson trends in the right direction, you have to put them in the conversation with teams that have to be taken seriously come playoff time.
No, I'm agree with you. I feel like for Deshaun, he just needs to be serviceable because their defense is so good. If he's just not a reason they're losing, I feel like they have a really good chance. And I feel like the AFC is weird this year. I feel like there's a lot of teams that you could say, oh, like they should be a contender, or they should be a contender. And I feel like they're right in the mix. And if you have a defense and a defense that travels, that plays well, especially in the postseason, all Deshaun got to do is just not make matters worse. If he can just be good enough to where, here, let me get you 14, maybe 21 points, I feel like they have the greatest chance as anybody to come out the AFC.
Now, in the NFC, a lot of teams are winning. The Cowboys, 49ers, Lions, and others all picking up W's over the weekend. Philly considered the top dog as of now, but who's the biggest threat to them in the NFC?
I would have to say Detroit, and I think it's mainly because of the quarterback. I really like Jared Goff, and I know you're probably going to rant and rave about the 49ers, but I trust Goff before I would ever trust Brock Purdy. And I like the way that Detroit wins. Detroit wins close games that are in the balance. Like even the game against the Chargers, that game could have went the opposite way very easily. So the fact that they hung in there and were able to stay composed enough to get a big win, I love what Dan Campbell's doing with the culture of that team. I do think they're not as good as Philly, but if there's any team that's going to threaten Philly, especially when it comes to number one seed, it's definitely Detroit.
You know what kind of games the Lions win? Games against teams that are 500 or below. They haven't beaten a winning team since week 1 against the Chiefs, and that game was basically handed to them by Kadarius Toney. The two winning teams they faced, they lost to. The Seahawks got absolutely smoked by the Ravens. Every other team they've beaten has been 500 or below. It's the San Francisco 49ers, clearly. The 49ers were banged up. Trent Williams, the best offensive lineman in the game, was out. That's one of the reasons that Brock Purdy was struggling. Obviously, Deebo Samuel was injured as well. Now that the 49ers are healthy and raring to go, they're on the same playing field as Philadelphia. We were talking about this as a possible undefeated team just a few weeks ago. Brock Purdy looked great once things were right in front of him again. So I think it's Philly, I think it's San Francisco, and then I'd actually put Dallas up next.
But to your point, you just said once things went right. And what separates Philly from San Fran, and even I'd say the same thing about Detroit, is that things have to go right for San Fran to win. When they don't go right, palms get sweaty, backsides get a little tight. And I feel like in the playoffs, in the latter parts of the season, there's going to be instances where not everything's going right, and you still got to find a way to win. And I'd rather trust Detroit before I ever trust San Fran.
San Fran's been there before. If anybody's going to be mom's spaghetti, it's the Lions.